Former Benque Mayor Said Badiguera, now he's charged for rape of a male minor. We'll talk to the victim's mother. And the Belize communication workers for justice. They were on the picket lines against their former employer again today. Also, the Prime Minister said we should be ashamed for reporting on the big bite that brokers and customs officers are taking on car imports. Tonight, Jules Vasquez re-examines the evidence against what the PM said. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
He's going to try and hobble BTL.
That's what Dean Barrow predicted would happen if Briceño became Prime Minister, but it has not happened. In fact, what Barrow failed to tell us was that the hobbling of BTL had already taken place under his son Anwar as executive chairman, whose policies caused earnings on shares to fall from 42 cents to 21 cents in 2017 and 2018, then way down to 14 cents by 2019 and 2020. When Briceño became Prime Minister, it actually started climbing again up to 29 cents in 2022, then to 40 cents in 2023, up to 46 cents in 2024, and hit an all-time high at 53 cents in 2025. So the next time they replay Barrow's prediction,
he's going to try and hobble BTL.
Remind him it was under his son's tenure as executive chairman that the hobbling of BTL occurred, and it is under Briceño as Prime Minister that it has rebounded. That is the fact, the stubborn fact.
The Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit offers correction and birth amendment services to correct information on your certificates. Correction services are meant to fix typos and similar errors. Birth amendment services allow for changing a child's name within the first year of registration, as well as adding or removing the father's details from the birth certificate. Who can apply? Any life event participant involved, such as bride or groom for marriage record corrections, mother, father, or child over 18 for birth record corrections, either the mother or father depending on the type of birth amendment. A person authorized can also apply once they have an authorization form. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit our website at crvs.gov.bz today to access our services.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together. Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Blue Creek and Belize City on February 7th and 14th respectively. All participants will get a free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love Your Honda is all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February, only at Benquit Equipment Parts Service.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Former Benque Viejo Mayor and Ambassador to Cuba, Said Bariguera, is facing a serious charge tonight. Today in Benque Viejo Magistrates Court, he was arraigned on a charge of rape. This is based on the complaint made by a 16-year-old male student in the middle of last year. The teenager alleged that Guerra, who worked at his high school as a teacher, took him for drinks and then carried him to his home where Guerra allegedly raped him. The teenager also suffered physical injuries, which in July of last year led to 4 counts of sexual assault, 1 count of harm, and 1 count of procuring defilement by threats. At the time, Guerra received bail of $10,000. Today, he was back in court with the charge upgraded to rape, which is a much more serious offense. Carries a minimum sentence of 8 years and a maximum of life in prison. Today, he appeared before Magistrate Cara Waters, where he was released on bail and will reappear in mid-March. The boy's mother got the news of this upgrading of charges from our news team. The family has maintained from the outset that the charge should have been rape. Today via phone, she told us in Spanish that she wants him convicted.
I don't feel well. I feel upset because I hear about other cases that are coming out. And I see they are actually putting those people in jail. And I see that they are doing more for other people than for what's happening to my son. It's like they're just ignoring him. It has affected me a lot because my son isn't the same anymore. He's nervous and agitated. He can't sleep peacefully anymore, and his behavior is different. Sometimes he says, "Mommy, I don't want to go to school anymore because sometimes I hear things that other kids are saying." And he says, "Sometimes I feel uncomfortable, like people are judging me." And he asks, "Why is this happening to me?"
The family also told us that police gave them no notice that Guerra's charge would be upgraded. Guerra's brother is the current UDP Cayo West representative, but we could not reach him for comment. And in other news, while the NTUCB had cancelled its protest on Tuesday, the Belize Communication Workers for Justice is moving full steam ahead. The retirees were out in front of BTL's headquarters again today, this time with more people, more placards, and a brand new song. They've got the support of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Labour, but will this translate to them getting their severances? Courtney Menzies was out there today and spoke with them. Here is that story.
The Belize Communication Workers for Justice aren't slowing down. They've planned 2 protests for this week and kicked off the first one today. They picketed in front of BTL on St. Thomas Street with an even larger crowd than last time, and with passing vehicles blowing their horns in support. And they've got the support of the Prime Minister, who yesterday said they would push BTL to pay the retirees their severances. However, BCWJ Rep. Emily Turner says that without action, they're not buying the pretty words.
I will say that we really received that message well. We must acknowledge that we appreciate that he has come out and said that on record. But he had sent similar message last week Friday, and then a couple hours later we got this letter from BTL saying that they were still reviewing. So while I appreciate that he is supporting that, we are a group about action. That's why we are out here. So unless BTL acts in that manner, it's really just words coming out from the Prime Minister, because the board that is appointed by him and that serves at his pleasure is not listening to what he's saying. They're taking their times. They have written to us. They have even sent that press release that said that they will wait until their next board meeting to review this. I hope that they will put some urgency on it. We continue protesting for this reason, because words without action, no one do nothing for us.
And while the PM hasn't made any moves yet, he did say that he does not agree with the 6-year limitation period BTL cited in its press release. And Turner explained further why that shouldn't even be a consideration.
Severance is a statutory obligation that you must discharge at the moment you cease working. And if you didn't do that, then you have not met your obligation, so the obligation remains outstanding. And what the CCJ said is, well, I have reviewed it. You have not, BTL, you have not met that obligation for these people since 1994, and you must meet it. So everybody else that was within after 1994 is being settled with, and these people that we are representing have similar cases.
And in fact, the BCWJ is saying that if a past worker of BTL who did not receive their severance has already passed away, their family can also claim that money.
All we ask that your relative passed and your loved one is there, but I am certain that they would want you to receive what was rightfully yours that would be passed down to them. So all they need to come and do is to apply, send in their letter or send their names to the group with information. If they don't have it, we try our very best to get the information from within, and we put that along with the group. There are others who have died, but they met the years that they were asking for, which there's no status, but they had met it and they were paid. You know, they came in and they got the money for the loved one that passed.
The company have all those records and be making the calls?
The company is saying that they're searching and they can't find some. But Michael Edward William Augustus, who worked in HR, who worked in PR, knows where those documents are. They have a storage under the stairs at the same ETC building. You have recent files there. Then they box them up and send them to Ladyville. That store has moved to Lord's Bank, where Nelly and others would know. There are shelves there, and they are well labeled, and they are placed in there by years. When Mitch came and did a little thing and they were afraid, they started storing them in Belmopan. The paper filing, all the files of each employee are still there.
And while the BCWJ is working to assist the former BTL workers, they also want to help anyone in or out of the labor force with similar issues. And since they've started speaking out, they've been getting a lot of public support.
In terms of the public, what has been happening is that people are sending, if they know that they have somebody that is sick or somebody that is out, that is not here, they are starting to provide us support. Some people are sending us sandwiches, they're sending us water. We also got an umbrella from one of the customers that came out from BTL. So we have a lot of support. A lot of people are calling us to advise us on some matters that are relevant to this movement. But I think most importantly, I think one of the messages that we really wanted to get out is to all workers of Belize. This is not just about the BTL employees. This is about all of us. And we have to take care and look after ourselves when it comes to things like pensions and severance.
Today's protest lasted 2 hours, from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. The group plans to protest again tomorrow. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
And as you have heard Turner say, it's always a guessing game with the police department about whether their permit applications will be approved. However, the union senator told us today that he believes the commissioner is misinterpreting his role. He explained that the right to demonstrate is guaranteed and the law doesn't place the power to decide in the police's hands.
I am with the protesters on this. Your right to associate is a constitutionally given right. And that includes, in my mind, your right to associate and assemble wherever you wish. And so I think like the police are a little bit misguided in relation to the power, because what they have is an administrative power that I don't think is to give you permission. I think that section exists solely for the purposes of the police being able to manage the situation and be aware of events that could erupt into violence or things like that. So I think it was only an administrative tool that the police have. I don't think it's a power to like decide who should protest or who shouldn't protest. It certainly cannot be interpreted as a power to say to an institution like the Trade Union Congress that we are not going to give you a permit to protest because there already exists a permit to protest by the UDP. And I will go on a limb and say this part, and it definitely can be the police deciding to tell the union, go join the UDP. So that to me, that's flawed in the worst kind of way.
But if getting approved permit applications is proving to be a bit more difficult, why did NTUCB call off its protest on Tuesday? Dennison explained that the pause on the acquisition announced in the House on Friday was much needed breather, and that the individual unions, particularly the BNTU and PSU, are polling their members to get the mandate needed to protest.
When the pause happened, I had to breathe too, right? I'm out here because the pause happened and we can pivot a little bit. But a lot of people don't realize how democratic the process is in the Congress is. So no positions of any umbrella organization can happen without the full participation of all the organizations. So the process that we have is that we as a Congress would meet and we would ask for instructions from individual unions. Individual unions all have their method of how they get the mandate. I love the one for the teachers union. And so what the teachers union, what it is that they go branch level and national level, and they have numbers of people who have to come out and people who have to vote for them to determine whether they will take a stance. What they do is they educate first. So I know for a fact the teachers union was on an educational campaign to get the teachers aware of the issues before they would ask them, what is your position? When the pause came, it's not that they stopped, it's that they realized they had a little more time to do a little more education. And so that's where I think that is. And I kind of really like the pause because these things take a little time. But once the mandate is given by the BNTU, the PSU, what will happen when the pause stops is that we will already have had the mandate and we can mobilize with a day's notice.
We'll keep following the story. We'll take a break now. When we come back, his alleged drunk driving killed a 19-year-old woman. We'll tell you how Oscar Galindo pleaded down to a lesser charge today. Plus, the PM says 7 News should be ashamed at our reporting on the big bite at customs. Jules Vasquez goes looking for his shame. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Blue Creek and Belize City on February 7th and 14th respectively. All participants will get a free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love Your Honda is all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February. Only at Benquit Equipment Parts Service.
He's going to try and hobble BTL.
That's what Dean Barrow predicted would happen if Briceño became Prime Minister, but it has not happened. In fact, what Barrow failed to tell us was that the hobbling of BTL had already taken place under his son Anwar as executive chairman, whose policies caused earnings on shares to fall from 42 cents to 21 cents in 2017 and 2018, then way down to 14 cents by 2019 and 2020. When Briceño became Prime Minister, it actually started climbing again, up to 29 cents in 2022, then to 40 cents in 2023, up to 46 cents in 2024, and hit an all-time high at 53 cents in 2025. So the next time they replay Barrow's prediction,
he's going to try and hobble BTL.
Remind him it was under his son's tenure as executive chairman that the hobbling of BTL occurred, and it is under Briceño as Prime Minister that it has rebounded. That is the fact, the stubborn fact.
Remember when Senator Bacon was still a senator? He spoke about transparency and honesty.
If you don't have anything to hide, why don't you bring it to light?
So why did Chairman Bacon hide this? The first ever employment contract for a chairman, locked in for 5 years with a salary nearly $400,000 a year.
Remember, BTL is owned by the people of Belize.
So while you struggle with high rates, he collects nearly $400,000 a year and gets paid even if he's no longer a director of the company. So even though everyone wants him gone,
NTUCB members wanted to demand Chairman Mark Lizarraga's resignation.
Chairman Lizarraga needs to go.
Bacon ain't giving up that fat salary. And even if he's removed, he still gets paid.
I sit at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
Because that's how Chairman Bacon rolls.
I'm Randolph Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
A safer Belize begins with all of us, and the Belize Police Department is taking bold steps to build that future together. The new 2025-2029 Crime Control and Crime Prevention Strategy is transforming policing from the ground up, reforming practices, rebuilding trust, and strengthening accountability. With investments in modern technology, upgraded infrastructure, and smart data-driven tools, officers will respond faster, work smarter, and endeavor to keep communities safer. This plan puts community partnership at its core. It will require more engagement, result in more transparency, and introduce new programs that support our youth, prevent violence, and promote second chances. From fighting gang violence and illegal firearms to confronting emerging threats like cybercrime, the BPD is building stronger, smarter, more specialized teams to protect every Belizean. And with enhanced training and leadership development, our officers are better prepared than ever to serve with integrity and professionalism. The Belize Police Department is rebuilding, reforming, and renewing its commitment to you. Together, we can create a safer, stronger Belize.
Indian restaurant located at 148 Newton Barracks Road in Belize City, saying great authentic Indian cuisine. More space, a VIP area, and better ambience. Visit them at their new location or place your order via WhatsApp to 614-667. Restaurant. Come enjoy a true Indian experience.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In April of 2024, 20-year-old Oscar Galindo was accused of driving drunk and causing the death of 19-year-old Denia Rowland. He was behind the wheel when he lost control of the vehicle, causing it to flip several times. At the time, he was charged for manslaughter by negligence, causing death by careless conduct, drove motor vehicle without due care and attention, and drove with alcohol concentration above the prescribed limit. But today in the High Court, he pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of causing death by careless conduct. Justice Derek Sylvester deferred sentencing to April 14th of 2026, ordered a social inquiry report and character witness statements, and extended Galindo's bail. Initially, Galindo was unrepresented, and so he was appointed an attorney by the state, which in this case is Oscar Salgado. When it comes to the Belize justice system, she's been through many dangers, toils, and snares. And on Monday, Jasmine Harton got a break when she was found not guilty of common assault to Sandra Grisham and possession of a controlled drug for half a gram of cocaine. Her attorney, Arta Saldiva, told us that at the conclusion of the trial, the prosecutor's evidence was not strong enough to convict Harton, and so she was found not guilty. He said that the testimony of the woman accusing her of common assault also had inconsistencies. Harton appeared virtually. Well-known DJ, promoter, and salesman Eterio Castillo, known as DJ Cass, is wanted for questioning by Benque Viejo police, accused of the theft of over $30,000 in sales receipts from his former employer Vega's distributors. Assistant General Manager Ian Vega reported to police that an audit of the company's receivables from June 2025 to January 2026 for a sale route from Belize City to San Pedro Town to Orange Walk District showed that various businesses had outstanding balances. But when they checked, it was revealed that all those companies had either paid Castillo in cash or made an online payment to his personal Heritage Bank account. The total paid to Castillo by the clients and not received by his former employer amounted to $32,594.87. Castillo was approached by management and signed a document on February 5th accepting that missing funds had been paid to him by all the clients and were never handed over. Police are now seeking the 31-year-old Castillo of a Belize City address. For his part, Castillo has made a post saying that he didn't steal anything and is out of the country on an emergency trip to purchase DJ equipment. He says he will sue Ian Vega for bringing the complaint. He was a trusted family friend, but Orange Walk police have charged a man for a sexual offense against a child. The accused is said to have had sexual interactions with a 12-year-old girl on 8 different occasions between January of 2024 and the 31st December of 2025. The minor, accompanied by her mother, filed a report on December 21st of 2025 and requested court action. 2 months later, the accused, whose name we cannot release to protect the child, handed himself into police custody in the presence of his attorney. The 37-year-old was charged for 2 counts of rape of a child, 2 counts of attempted rape of a child, and 4 counts of assault of a child under 16 years by penetration. He appeared in court and was remanded. The child says she was molested when her father left her at home under the supervision of the accused man until he returned from work daily at 5 p.m. For a few weeks now, we've been reporting on the big bite being taken by specially selected customs brokers working in cahoots with customs officers at the northern border, where vehicles are imported. We've shown compelling evidence of the enormous size of the bite, where the brokers' cut is far greater than what government collects. But the Prime Minister told us all that is in the past, and that we should for some reason be ashamed of our reporting. Tonight, Jules Vasquez tells us it's not so distant.
These are the figures we showed you on Monday. A broker's bite and customs kickback on vehicles imported through the northern border. It's alarming because the bite can be more than twice what the government collects. We have all the factual elements to prove a corrupt system of unchecked personal enrichment. Literally, customs officers and select brokers collecting more than the government on imports. Seems pretty disgraceful, but the PM said that our reporting is the real disgrace.
As I mentioned to Cabinet on Tuesday, when I saw the reporting from Channel 7, I said that I found it shameful and disgraceful. And of course, as the minister responsible, of course I have to take responsibility at the end of the day. But that we had already stopped that practice. So, what you was reporting was something that happened before.
Well, this transaction was just 6 weeks ago, hardly ancient history. This Suburban was imported in January of this year. That's just 1 month ago. And persistent reports tell us that this system of an ease on duties, once the big bite is paid, continues up to this week. But the PM did concede that as Minister of Finance, he is responsible. In this case, for the loss of hundreds of thousands of dollars, likely millions, in government revenue. But he seems to want to blame the whistleblowers.
Now people are starting to pay more taxes, and I suspect that these very same people who are happy to pay the kickback know that they can't do that. They are starting to leak the information, I suspect. I don't know.
Notably, the Prime Minister did not question the veracity of the information, but neither did he say that he intends to do anything to address the loss in revenue or tackle past and present acts of corruption.
We'll keep following the story. Since Tuesday, you've been hearing the complaints of Belmopan business owners about the sharp increase in trade license fees. The mayor has since publicly acknowledged his error in the implementing of the charge before the new law could be finalized. According to the UDP's Belmopan caretaker, Khalid Bilal, and the Director of Local Government, that law has not been ratified by the Senate. However, Senator Glenfield Dennison clarified that, saying that it indeed passed through the Senate. He explained, though, that he had pointed out the very same issues the Belmopan Council found itself with.
What I think it is was an attempt to regularize the differences between people paying different rates of taxes. So if you look at the section, it tried to find an objective criteria in order to charge the trade licensing on. And what the government came up with was to use square footage in relation to businesses that are brick and mortar. So I think it's section 20 that says it's the minister who is supposed to declare rates per square footage based on different classifications of businesses. That hasn't been done to my knowledge. But what I want to clear up is that the law is in fact passed. It's not stuck at the Senate. And in fact, when they had first passed the law in 2014, they had put a date of January 1st, 2024. When it passed in 2024, they put a date of 1st of January 2025. And I remember when they brought that amendment to the House, I said to them, to the Senate, I said to them, this is bad drafting style because this date will come that you're changing it to, it will go and you won't know. You remember when I said that, Marisol? You won't know if you put a static date, if you can meet that deadline. I was told they will meet the October deadline. October came and they weren't able to meet it. And so they did exactly what I had told them to do the first time, which was to declare that it would come into force on a date to be appointed by the minister by an order published in the Gazette. And so that's where we are. The law is passed. It's just not in effect yet because the minister needs to do a declaration of commencement.
Dennison added that in the case of those seeing 300 to 700% increases, it's likely because they were underpaying with the previous calculation method. Here's how he explained it.
Business owners corrupt the system by trying to get a declaration of tax that is either at a lower rate or at a lower square footage than is what their business is reflecting. And so when you have that sort of ability to do that discretion, that's where corruption comes into play. So you would have rightly had two store owners side by side, same amount of square footage, same building type, same business type, and one is paying a lower rate because, well, he pay under the table. I said it's raw. He pay under the table when the next person refused to do that, but they would have been paying the tax at the normal rate. So you had that sort of discrepancy. So when you try to regularize it now, it looks like a 700% or 300% increase on the one who was paying lower. But to me, it's just a regularization of it. And that's why the objective criteria is important for using square footage, because then there's no, it's just a formula. You measure how much is your square footage that you're using it and times it by the appropriate amount, and that's your tax rate. I think that's a better system.
Tonight, there is grumbling in some sections of the legal community after news went out that 6 new magistrates have been appointed and all of them are foreign. That's the report, but when we checked with the president of the Bar Association, William Lindo, who sits on the Belize Judicial and Legal Services Commission, he told us that in fact Belizeans are included among those that were hired, but that they are in the minority. He added that only 3 Belizeans met the requirements and were shortlisted for an interview. He explains that Belize can't compete with the salary packages being offered in the wider Caribbean. And while Lindo says at least 2 Belizeans were hired, our sources in the legal community insist that all 6 new magistrates, including a senior magistrate, are from overseas. And we'll have more news when we come back. Don't you go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Champion security, champion security, champion security. Yeah. Your security is our business, so we gonna protect you like a champion, like a champion.
Guess what, Mr. Handsome? Yeah, over there, Champion Security. This is the place to be. What does sign say? Champion Security. Here at Champion Security, we provide quality service. You know why? Such as triology lock, fire alarm, IP camera system, gate operator, biometric lock, and alarm system. Champion Security. Make a go check out where they go on inside Champion Security. On point. Nice to meet you, my brother. Tell me a little bit more about Champion Security.
Well, welcome, Mr. Hanson. Here at Champion Security, we offer fire system, alarm system, camera system, gate operator, access control, and
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access BTL card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In Barbados, Mia Mottley's Barbados Labour Party has won another clean sweep in general elections, which were held yesterday. Her party, again, holds control of all 30 electoral seats, meaning there's no opposition in their House of Assembly. Her party has promised to continue to focus on the economy, the cost of living, and the country's place on the international stage. They declared Friday a holiday in celebration of the resounding victory. A marine conservation group named Sea of Life has launched its report for its Trash Blitz 2025 audit, which tracks the volume of garbage in Belize's waters. The report focuses on the type of garbage being accumulated and the brands of single-use plastics. We spoke with Paulita Bennett-Martin, who told us more about the findings.
67% of all the waste that we cataloged across the country was plastic or a material that was partially plastic and partially something else. And we're seeing that a lot of the schools around the country have a high number of water and food packaging. So that seems to be something that's showing up a lot, is single-use packaging for food and drinks. We're also seeing, though, that there's a decrease when we bring refillable water stations onto a campus. There's a strong decrease in the amount of single-use plastics that we find in the litter and in the waste streams on those school campuses. So we do this Pride campaign with a lot of organizations here in Belize City. And so when we go out into a neighborhood and we clean up for less than 1 hour, we haul in sometimes 60 to 70 full bags of trash within that hour. So that lets you know how much waste there is out there. Another thing that we need to think about is how to invest more in citizen science and empowering people with knowledge. So what we found between last year's Trash Blitz report and this year's Trash Blitz report was there was a much higher level of knowledge of what types of materials people were counting in the audits. So we're empowering people to also make their own decisions through the Trash Blitz.
If you want to see the report, you can find it at seaoflife.org. A restaurant in Benkevehu town is upset tonight after they had planned an anti-Valentine's themed promotion, but it was given a red light by the town council. The council nixed it because of the hours and the presence of alcohol. The owner maintains the business holds a valid restaurant license allowing the sale of alcohol with meals and says the establishment has consistently operated as a restaurant rather than a bar. We spoke with owner Javier Martinez.
Now, I do have a restaurant license which allows me to sell alcohol with food, which is what 98% of our customers do. We've marketed ourselves for years as a restaurant that sells beer, not a bar that sells food. Two totally different things. So we're known for that in Benke. Now, to have just a message, not even a professional courtesy to come into our business and explain and give me a full detailed explanation of why I cannot have an event that is within my legal right, that is my issue. I mean, we're supporting people, different businesses. I have Solani's Rental that is bringing a little bouncy house for the kids. So what is the issue? What really is the issue? And I'm voicing out because it's frustrating that we are trying to do something different. As a business, we've come from a very small business to this. And we're trying to grow and to offer the people in Benke something different.
Martinez laments that even in a hard business environment, the council is making it much harder for them to survive. You've heard from the unions, the independent senators, the independent media, and the opposition on the proposed BTL acquisition of Smart. But last night, there were new voices chiming in. A group called the Civic Fellowship Academy held an online webinar to share different perspectives on the issue of burning public interest. The panel featured former BTL CEO Anwar Barrow and Ashley Langford from the Commonwealth Student Association, among others. And here's what their conversations looked like.
One of the things that I wanted to jump right out there, out the gate, is this wrong statement that is put out there by politicians that this is a transaction between two private companies. That is not correct, and that's patently false. So we have to first appreciate that telecommunications in Belize is a heavily regulated industry. So there's the Telecommunications Act that regulates any kind of transaction and the industry of telecommunications and the provision of telecommunications services in Belize. So in order to get into this market, first of all, you have to be a licensee. So no person can just get up and provide telecommunication services. You have to make an application to the Public Utilities Committee and and everything that you do is a heavily regulated issue.
In matters which are of significant strategic implication, directors will consult with the shareholders who appoint them. So it is not accurate to say if the Prime Minister says or the CEO of SSB says or whoever says, oh, that's on the board, I don't have anything to do with that. That's in one sense true, but in another sense, for certain matters, this is the key delineation, the key distinction. For matters of heavy strategy or significant importance, such as an acquisition, the directors consult with the people who appoint them. Because ultimately, the people who appoint them, in this case, the government of Belize by way of the Prime Minister, the Social Security Board, or the small shareholders, in the majority, can remove those directors and replace them with others. There's a process, they have to call a meeting, so on and so forth, but they ultimately have the power.
One of the biggest ways of trying to educate more young persons is going to them. It's to going to them, and going to them meaning you would go to a university, go to a tertiary level institution. You look at different youth organizations as well. Like I partner with a lot of different youth organizations such as Rise Belize, there's National Student Union Belize, YLab, there's the NTUCB Vanguard. There's so much different youth organizations that have young people a part of those things that they want to know what's going on. Like I said in the beginning part, a lot of times you don't know what was the history of BTL and what was it. And thanks to Anwar and to Darrell for explaining to me what it truly meant and, the history behind that. So in having these panel discussion, I am happy that I actually had the idea of bringing the idea to you, Ms. Ariel, because I think it's needed, but it needs to be more as well, too.
You can see the webinar on Facebook on Ariel Lightfoot's page. 121 households in Yamiri Grove, Punta Gorda now have access to reliable water services thanks to a new water system installed by the Ministry of Rural Transformation and UNICEF. The project entails a new production well, a structurally elevated reservoir, and a submersible pump with integrated components that connects the distribution network to BEL's power system. This significantly improves 24/7 water access for residents, alleviating previous difficulties with shared water access. Here are the highlights from today's inauguration ceremony.
1, 2, 3. All right. There you go. 1, 2. Yeah. Look at that. There's water.
Water is a luxury. It is a basic need. This new water tank strengthens our capacity to store and to distribute water efficiently, ensuring greater reliability for household and business, particularly during period of high demand of water scarcity. This project is the result of strength collaboration. I wish to extend sincere appreciation to the Ministry of Founding Partner Engineering, contractors, to the delicate staff of Water Board who works tireless to bring this initiative to completion. I also thank the community for your patient cooperation and continued trust in our work.
We had Laguna and Emery Grove connected. And of course, there was the need, to expand the system and to ensure that Emery Grove had a very reliable system 24 hours a day. And I will say to you, this is the third system, the third tower that we have constructed as a ministry. The first one was done in Tower Hill, Orange Walk. And then the second one we did was in Medina Bank. And the third one is here in Emery Grove. We feel proud of this great accomplishment and work in which we can serve our students, our young children, and our fellow Belizeans. And that's what we do. We wake up every day and thank God that He wakes us up, and we ask ourselves, what are we going to do today to make life better for all Belizeans?
And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching with your news. I'm Endura Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Have a pleasant evening. Join Miriam Abdul-Kawa here tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you back on Monday. Have a good one.